John 19 is a fascinating account of what goes on, and it focuses on Peter. Peter, you remember, really had messed it up. Guy who at a time who had been so full of self-confidence. Lord, it doesn't matter about the rest of them. I'll never let you down. Yet that night, around that fireplace, around that fire, 3 times Peter had denied knowing Jesus at all. Yet he was, along with John, one of the first ones to head down to the tomb the next morning. But it seems that mess that he had made rankled in him. And in John 19 we read this. He decides he's going to do something. He's going back fishing. Sad thing was, of course, not only did he decide to do that for himself, but he took a bunch of boys with him. One thing that day about that statement, I'm going fishing. He had been a fisherman. That was a natural thing. He was good at it. It was the job he was good at. He has messed it up, and as a follower of Jesus, now he's going to go back to normal. I wonder how many of us simply live our lives as normal. I wonder how many of us have been at a time keen to follow the Lord Jesus, but we made a mistake. And of course the devil jumps in and says, there you are. That's the end of you, isn't it? We have listened to his lies, and many of us have ended up footering round doing the normal things, not doing what Jesus would want us to do. We're going to follow this story over these next few days. And I want you to listen very carefully, because I think for some of us, there might be a new day dawning, a day when hope would come again, when we would realize that failure in our eyes is not always failure in Jesus' eyes. Jesus longs to come to us, to meet us as we are, not as we would like to be, not as society would demand that we be, but he comes to meet us right as we are. It was his special task. You can read all the stories right the whole way through the Gospels of Jesus coming to different people and calling them. I wonder over these days, as you've listened to these ramblings of mine, do you find yourself being maybe touched again and wondering, is there more to life than what I've made it to be of recent days? My brothers and sisters, I sit here this afternoon, with the sun beaming in on me. I'm about to head off from a walk. If I had given up years ago, I wouldn't have been surprised. But Jesus has never given up on me. Jesus has followed me relentlessly at times until I would give in and come back to him. My prayer today would be that some of us would really, for the first time ever, come to find what Jesus wants us to do. For some of the rest of us, we would say, Lord, yeah, you know how I've messed things up. And I've gone back to just being the old self. Find out what Jesus would want you to do. Trust in him. Get back to him. And find out that he is able to take people who have messed up totally and make them into what they never could ever have hoped to be. Let me pray with you. Father, you know every person who's watching this wee broadcast today. I would simply pray that you'll speak to them by your Spirit, and that you will help them to see that you're the one who is waiting for them to come back to where they were, or maybe to come to you for the first time. Lord, you know each of us, and so I commit ourselves into your hands, praying for your good and perfect will to be worked out in our lives. Now, folks, away off from a walk.